Greetings, everyone. As we're practicing verbs in more and more of the binyanim, it can be a challenge to know if you're constructing them or interpreting them the right way, parsing them. And I want to remind you about a useful website called Pealim. Pealim is just the Hebrew term for verbs, Pealim. And I'll include the link in the description below. But in a nutshell, you go to Pealim, and you can enter either a conjugated form, that is, it might say shamarta, and you could type that in, and it'll tell you what it is. It'll be so-so at that. But what it's more useful for, I think, is you could say shin, mem, resh. There's our root, shamar, go. And you can do this for any three-letter root. And it's going to say, aha, is that, let me make this bigger. Is that lishmor? They're going to put things in the infinitive form, lishmor, to guard, to keep, to maintain. And if you click to view the full conjugation, lo and behold, they're going to give you here the kal. Quick word on terminology, they're going to call the kal the pa'al, which is why I'll say more about that in a second. Let's look at how they break this down. It's all the different forms that are in the charts I've given you and that are in the charts in our book in a slightly different format. They start with the present tense or participle. We call that the participle. In Hebrew, it really becomes, modern Hebrew becomes the present tense. So, shomer. They even give a little pronunciation guide. So that's he or I guards. Shomeret. They even show where the accent is. Shomeret. What are the plurals? Shomrim, shomerot. Beautiful. What about past tense? What we call the suffix. And it starts even in the order of our book. It has the singular shamarti, then the second person in the masculine shamarta, the feminine shamart, the third person in the masculine shamar, the feminine shamra, and then in the next, category, I find this visually a little confusing, but you get used to it. Over here on the right are the plurals. So here's the first person, plural, shamarnu, we guarded, shamartem, shamarten, shamru. All right, there's our perfects. What are our futures? Well, you already know your future. Eshmor, tishmari, and so on. Finally, what are the imperatives? And remember, there will only be second person imperatives. You can only say a command directly to someone. So these are all second person. Shemor, said to a man. Shimri, shimru, shmorna. And finally, the infinitive, lishmor. So that's the complete kal form or pa'al form of shamar. Now, if you want to find the nifal, you can find that as well. You'll have to come down to the C also, and you'll just see they have some nouns. I mean, you're very clever at the internet, you'll figure it out, but you'll have to come down to look for an infinitive form, something with a l, lahishamer, I-a-e. And if you aren't sure if that's the nifal infinitive, they are going to say that's the verb in the nifal, to be kept, to be safeguarded. Just notice in modern Hebrew, lahishamer, in fact, already in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they write an extra yud to make it visually clear that that there's an extra vowel in there. All right, so let's click on the nifal, and we get the whole nifal parsed, or formed, conjugated. The participle, the feminine participle, blah, blah, blah. The past tenses, that is the suffixes, nishmarti. And the futures, with a little pronunciation guide, tishamer, tishamer, tishamri, tishamri, and so on. And even the imperatives, hishamer. There's a little, hey, blah, blah, blah. We talked about this. So that's pretty useful for practicing. If you get a verb where you say, gosh, I'm not sure what verb that is, you could just try this out. make some flashcards. And so you could put in any 3-letter root, zakar, kaf, resh, and go. Lizkor, to remember, viewful conjugation. All right, so I hope you find this Pealim website useful as a way to check things, as a way to write things in Hebrew, so on and so forth. Good to know about. I don't know how much you've been using it, but the link is there, and there's just a quick tutorial on what it offers you. All right.